Conflict Denied Ops is a bad game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This video game stinks. It got bad reviews at launch. I think it's trash. And somebody who told me that he was a QA tester at Eidos back in the day, well, he said that he played this game and he didn't like it except for the multiplayer. So yeah, this title is bad. Not quite COD Vanguard awful, but still junk. But what made Conflict Denied Ops so horrible? Many things, but for me, the most noticeable thing was probably the horribly outdated graphics for the time, as this title came out in 2008. After games like Modern Warfare 1, Halo 3, Medal of Honor Airborne, and shoot, even Black on the original Xbox, all of which run circles around Denied Ops graphically. And pause here for a second, what was up with Eidos publishing graphically outdated games on the 360 in the late 2000s? This, Shell Shock 2, and Kane & Lynch? Well, they all look pretty bad graphically, but at least the rough look kinda works on Shell Shock with the survival horror setting. Anyways, this was the last game to ever use the Conflict engine, which powered several Xbox original games. So if you think that this looks like a XBO title, well, that's why. But hey, graphics, they're not everything. What about the gameplay? Is it any good? Well, I'll put it this way. I used to live in Florida, and often on weekends or after work, I would hand wash and wax RV campers in the summer, and we're talking like 100 to 110 degree weather, and it was common for me to get heat rashes, heat exhaustion, and dehydration. Plus, just the fatigue of hand waxing a 40-foot camper after a full day of work. If I had to choose between playing this game and cleaning another camper under those circumstances, hand me a brush, a cloth, and a bucket of water, as I will do that over Conflict Denied Ops. But what exactly makes this game such a dreadful experience that less than 8% of players finished on the normal difficulty? For starters, this title is just super clunky and janky in general. Like, sometimes turning is really weird, as for some reason that I cannot explain, you'll sometimes just turn very slowly, and other times at a normal speed, and forget trying to turn while aiming down your sights, as this is an even slower process. Not to mention that all of the guns in Denied Ops have crazy spread, recoil, and sway. Oh, and for your guns. Alrighty, so you play as two characters, Graves and Lang, and you can swap between them on the go, while the other is controlled by the GPU. Graves has two guns, the world's crappiest sniper rifle and a suppressed pistol, while Lang has a light machine gun, a RPG, and a slightly better suppressed sidearm. That is your entire arsenal for this game, and while you do get upgrades as the game progresses, you don't get to choose your upgrades. The game just auto-assigns them, so I hope you like what's offered. But like, what kind of FPS gives you such a small weapon variety? I get that the two dudes are supposed to be different, a heavy weapon specialist and a sniper, but they could have given us some options. Now technically, you don't need any other weapons, as the ones provided will get the job done, but some variety would have been nice. For the sniper, it's suppressed and does very little and inconsistent damage when you can actually hit something, as it's about as accurate as the Barrett on Black Ops 2 Zombies with its boatload of recoil, but for inconsistent damage. So this game doesn't have hit markers, but enemies will react to being shot. Sometimes I could hit baddies with a chest shot and take them out in 1, 2, or 3 hits. Usually. Sometimes it'd be more like 5 or 6, and on one occasion it took 9 body shots to kill one enemy. Now, I don't claim to be a crack shot in this game, but the dude I was firing at reacted to all 9 of my bullets in that case, meaning every single one was hitting their mark, and bro just kept on going. But how about the machine gun? With its crap ton of recoil and spread, it's pretty hard to use for longer shots, but at least it does have a underbarrel grenade launcher, although the grenades have no blast radius and you can only hold 3 at once, and the RPG has a ton of sway, and again, you can only hold 3 rounds. But it gets worse. Alright, so on one level it started stealthily and I wanted to go quiet, so I assigned Lang to use his pistol and I played as Graves, with the rifle. Well, Lang just turned around, whipped out his MG, and opened fire on some enemies, totally ruining the silent approach, and the AI refusing to do as it was told was a very recurring theme in a game where you heavily need to rely on said AI companion. Sometimes I would very specifically tell the AI to go to a certain place, as I needed it to stay there to watch my back, or just to hang back in case I needed to swap characters. Sometimes the GPU would do what I asked of it, other times it would straight up refuse to go where I commanded, or it'd go there for half a second and leave, walking straight into enemy machine gun fire, or it might go where I told it to and do absolutely nothing, allowing enemies to flank me while I was taking care of business. Now, this game is fully playable via co-op with another human, which would have fixed this problem, but I didn't have that luxury, so yeah. Alright, what else have I got written in my notes? Ah yes, the story. It is worse than paper thin. Comparing Conflict to a game like Body Count. Body Count has a paper-thin story that at least kinda makes sense and it never contradicts itself. Conflict's story is super boring, super bland. I don't even know what this game is about, and in one cutscene, Graves says that he's quitting the ops and that Lang is on his own. But the very next level, there's Graves, having changed his mind behind the scenes, I reckon. And I know that first-person shooters don't really need a story as long as the gameplay is there. I mean, games like Duke Nukem 3D, Ion Fury, and Quake have almost no story, but they're considered to be amazing first-person shooters. But Conflict's gameplay, just no. Getting more into said gameplay, what else does this game do wrong? Well, on multiple occasions, I would seemingly be shot through walls, which was annoying as said wall would remain intact, and it would sometimes feel like enemies would just materialize out of thin air, and on a couple occasions I watched bad guys just disappear more or less, just poof and they were seemingly gone. What else did this game do wrong? How about the super janky vehicles that felt like they were coated in butter thanks to super slippy controls? Ooh, and you cannot sprint. A very outdated mechanic in most FPSs by the time that 2008 rolled around. Also, it is very easy to miss melee attacks, as your melee weapon bashes were about as janky as the knife on World at War zombies. And really, janky would probably be the word I would use if I had to sum up this game in just one word. It feels really unpolished, clunky, stiff, and just not really finished. Now, this game did have a couple good things going for it, like an amazing soundtrack, and the sniper rifle does have a really cool attachment, being a camera, which you can use to lean out of cover and use your gun without exposing your whole body. While this wasn't super fleshed out, it was a neat idea. Plus, between the two characters, you do have 5 grenade types to choose from, which was neat. Also, this title does actually have side missions, so I must give to Night Ops a little bit of credit there. Although I must take away credit because this game does not have subtitles, and it was sometimes hard to make out what people were saying, especially during a level with combat sounds. Or who knows, maybe this was intentional to give the game a more realistic feeling, but they could have at least added subs to the cutscenes, and while the main voice actors were above average, the rest were just okay. As for the multiplayer side of this game, I cannot comment, as my Game Pass is expired and I have no one to play it with locally, although I can say that many achievements are locked to MP, and this title does have online leaderboards, which are still up in 2026. And yeah, conflict denied ops. When it wasn't a super janky, clunky mess, it could actually be fun, but it is just so unpolished and just not good, and I give this title a 4 out of 10 by my grade scale. Even buying it for $5 with in-store credit, it is just not worth grabbing. Maybe the co-op play is better, but alone, big pass. But hey, at least it is better than Amy, for whatever that is worth. But as of right now, this is, in my opinion, the worst FPS on Xbox 360. That said, I haven't yet played Rogue Warrior on the 360, but if it is anything like the PC version, it might dethrone Denied Ops when I finally get around to trying it. As far as similar games I could recommend, you would probably like Body Count. While it's just a decent game, it is much better than crap-flicked Denied Gamer Score. That name seems to fit this game better. Anyways, that is my review. Thanks for sticking around and for putting up with my bad voice. It truly does mean a lot. I know that my voice pops a lot, and I'm sorry about that. It's not something that I can really help, and just thank you for putting up with it if you've made it this far. Anyways, for those new here, I mostly review and discuss Xbox 360 games, so feel free to sub if that sounds interesting, and follow me on GameRam and Kara for hints at upcoming vids and behind the scenes stuff. Also, feel free to comment, review, request, but please note that I can never promise a requested video. As for our Bible verse of the day, I read John 12:44 NIV. Then Jesus cried out, "Whoever believes in me does not believe in me only, but in the one who sent me." And as always, none of my content is made by robots. Keep YouTube human and only watch man-made videos. And I never give permission for my voice and likeness to be copied and altered by robots in any way. God bless, keep the 360 alive, peace. And it was pretty common for me to get some horrible heat